Now we're going to speak a little bit about equity. Equity and equality are related. They're similar, but they're not the same thing. So let's figure this out. Equality we've all heard about, treating everyone equally. That's really important. People of all sizes, ages, skin colors, ethnicities, religious beliefs. We have to treat people equally. We have to respect them. We have to be kind. We have to be fair. That's very important, and it's something we're always striving for. But there's another piece inside of equality called equity. And what that means is that we don't always give everyone the same in order to treat them the same. What? What does that mean? Let me see if I can explain. Let's say you had a group of people and you were going to go on a bike ride, and you gave them all the exact same bike. So you're treating them all equal. You're giving everyone the same exact bike. Well, if you give everyone a bike that fits me, right? That works for me. It works for people that are kind of around the same size as me, but it wouldn't work for my son, who's 4.5. He's really tiny, so he wouldn't be able to climb up on that bike. If we give that bike to LeBron James, who is 6'8" or 6'10" and much broader than me, that bike wouldn't work for him because he'd be hunching over and it wouldn't be steady enough. If we gave that bike to someone who was in a wheelchair and could not use their legs, that bike would be useless to them. They wouldn't be able to do anything with it. So giving everyone the same exact thing, even though it's equal, isn't always the best way to make everyone equal. Equity means giving everyone what they need to have the same opportunity. So if you were going to say, we're all going on a bike ride, let's go to the store and rent bikes. Instead of giving everyone the same bike, you'd give me the bike that fits me. You would get something smaller, maybe even with training wheels for my son, who's 4.5. You would give LeBron James something real tall and probably with some extra sturdy tires because he's big and muscular and he needs something to help support that weight. And you would give someone who is in a wheelchair and couldn't use their legs a bike where you can recline and sit and use your arms to pedal. Equality, everyone gets the same thing, doesn't always work for everyone all the time. Equity, giving everyone the kind of bicycle they need, makes things much more equal in the end. So the reason I'm explaining that is because the next segment we're going to watch is about a parent who decided that his son, who loved Minecraft, was really not getting the best experience by using the same Minecraft that everyone else used. He was having trouble keeping up with certain things in the game. He was having trouble with using the right kind of language. He was having trouble picking up on the right kind of social cues. He needed some special accommodations to enjoy that game. And this gentleman, this father, created something called Autcraft, A-U-T, for autism. They've created an amazing community where basically there are people, volunteers, who help to create, moderate, and organize, and kind of almost like chaperone or supervise this Minecraft environment so everyone, including children who have some extra challenges because of being on the autism spectrum, so they can all enjoy it. In this clip, you're going to see a really interesting example of one student who is having trouble with some of the chat he was typing in and how they solved this problem. And this just shows how equity is so important. When we come back from that, there'll be a music example of me using some technology tools to create something kind of special.
We're always trying to show all the players that everybody is considered to be equal, even me. But we know that we can't treat people equally to do that. Some of the players get angry very easily. Some of them have additional struggles on top of autism, such as OCD or Tourette's. So I have this knack of remembering all of the players. I remember their first day and the conversations we've had, things we've talked about, and that they've built. And so when somebody comes to me with a problem, I handle that situation differently than I would with any other player, based on what I know about them. For the other admins and helpers, we document everything so that whether it's good or bad or a concerning conversation, it's there so everybody is aware. I want to give you one example of this one player. He was with us for a little while, but at some point he started spamming dashes in the chat, like a big long line of dashes all the way across the screen. And a little while later, he'd do it again. And so the other players asked him not to do that. He'd say, okay, and then he'd do it again. So it started to frustrate the other players. They asked me to mute him or to punish him for breaking the rules, but I knew there had to be something more to it. So I went to his aunt, who's the contact that I have for him, and she explained that he had gone blind in one eye and was losing his vision in the other. So what he was doing was splitting up the chat into easier to see blocks of text, which is pretty smart. So that very same night, I talked to a friend of mine who writes code, and we created a brand new plugin for the server that makes it so that any player on the server, including him, of course, could just enter a command and instantly have every single line separated by dashes. Plus, they can make it asterisks or blank lines or anything they want, whatever works best for them. We even went a little bit extra and made it so that it highlights your name, so that it's easier to see if somebody mentions you. It's just one example of how doing a little bit extra, a small modification, still helps everybody be on equal footing, even though you did a little extra just for that one player.
Wow, so you can really see how that father was able to go the extra mile to think about not just what equality would be, everybody being allowed to play Minecraft the way it is right now, but thinking about the ways in which he can make that situation just what each kid needs to be successful and enjoy it. I'm going to show you an example of myself using some technology. It's not as noble or as brilliant as what that father did, but it's kind of a neat example of how we can find ways to make music together even when other people are not near us because of quarantine. And I actually met some new friends here using an app called Bandimal. There's Bandimal and there's Loopamol. They're both made by the same company, and it's kind of hard to explain. Let me just watch the video. Hey everyone. Well, I'm going to try my own version of playing music using technology with the help of these guys. Say hi, guys. Well, they're not much for talking, but just wait. This is an app called Loopamol. There's also one called Bandimal, and it's kind of goofy, but it's kind of a nice way to try making music on your own. And maybe I'll even add another bit of myself in a moment. You guys ready? Let's do this.
What?